Hi again. Well, today we're going to be talking about the difference between get-home bag, 72-hour bag, or survival bag. I would consider this one more of a survival bag just because of the items you put in it. A 72-hour bag is exactly that. It lasts you around 72 hours, maybe plus, depending on how many people you have with you, at the time you have to do whatever you do with your bag or what you have in it. A get-home bag is exactly that. It's to get you home. You pack extra shoes, clothes, water, things like that. You don't plan on, camping out. You're trying to get home. And that's why I would call this more of a survival bag, because survival meaning if you were to have to go out, just say if you were hiking with it or something like that, it's things you put in it to make it last longer. Simple as like fishing string. You wouldn't put this in a get-home bag, of course. But things like fishing string, it's really packed in this one little compartment. I got extra cordage, trotline cord, just a reel that I had sitting around. And you can hold it like this, or you can actually attach it to a pole, which I'll show you a little later in the video. I wanted to bring, you want to bring your whole tackle box, whatever you normally fish with. But, of course, you can't carry that kind of weight. Just a little, it's got a little bit of everything in there. I'll show you a more detailed list, what's in there. Now, here's one of the traps. This is for larger game. I mean, you can do, anything from skunk to, I guess, coyote. Anything. That's pretty much what it's designed for. I have two of them. One's a Model 3, one's a Model 4. This one's a little larger. Same thing, coyote, maybe a little bit bigger. If you've ever seen these. I'm going to make a video on these traps on how different ways you can use them. 3 or 4 different trapping techniques that work good. And here's the last thing in here. Now, well, I think I have one more, don't I? And I have here they are, I brought them out. And I have 10 snares in here. And that's just for smaller things, rabbits, raccoons, things like that. You want to bring, I'm going to show you what I'm talking about as far as a fishing box. You would love to pack something like that. That's what I normally go fishing with, and it's everything in there from crappie, bass, pretty much whatever. But, you just can't put that on your back. So, what I did is I went through and picked the best out of what I like. One of those deals where, I wish I could have had that crankbait, but man, it takes up so much room, and if that one crankbait goes down, you're screwed. And what I got in here, just a little bit of things, bobber, I got some swivels and stuff in the bottom of that, worms, just little frogs, just little things that work that I've done in the past, crickets. But here's the main thing, weights and hooks. I got a whole container of hooks. I probably got 110 hooks in there. There's no telling how many I've got, and all different sizes. And this is what you make your backup pole with. Instead of having to, get a pole or something like that, or pack down a pole that just compacts down, I've gotten 3 of those little hooks, and a little later, I'm going to show you what I do with that. Alright, what I got in this little black one that I pulled out, I have, and now these are pretty much a must, but they will break. I have 3 bobbers in there, and they're only going to last so long. Bobbers do wear out, the springs, wear out. So, what you could always do, instead of that, make sure you have plenty of string, make your own bobber up. Just get a rotten piece of wood, you can find this, of course, anywhere, and tie it to something, and it'll float. Of course, that's where you might need the weights to keep your bait down, your crickets, worms, whatever you find. But just a piece of wood is all you need for that. So, bobbers weren't that big on my list. I threw them in there just for the heck of it. I got that brand new roller, completely full. You're going to need the string. You can always use your cordage if you got wherever that cord went. You can always use your cordage, break it down. Your paracord, you got the little white strings in it, you can always use that. So that is an option. But as far as all this, mostly you're going to need the string. That would probably be your biggest thing I would say you need. And I'm going to show you how I make that pole by using, and I think I had 3 of them in here. Let's see. Yeah. I have 3 of those little deals in there. And I'm going to show you how I would make a pole up. Now you can always just take a stick. Just find a stick and tie it to the end. But using this kind of reel, which, you know, a cane pole, but using this kind of reel, I'm going to try it a different way. Just by running it through it so I can actually cast out in case that, you know, a shallow water or something like that. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. Alright, the reason why I base most of my box on fishing is because if I can catch anything, the guts to whatever I catch, I can use for the traps. Now for snare, you can do the same thing. Usually things like rabbit, you know, if you have any kind of just a scrap of a candy bar, that's where the snares come in handy. But for my other traps, what I call the Model 3 and Model 4, those, if you put fish guts down in a hole, which I'll show in other videos on how to trap using that, that's almost a guaranteed. If there's a coyote, fox, dog even in the area, they're going to smell that and they're going to come to it to smell what's in the hole, and you got them. That's why I base most of my fishing box on fishing, because pretty much anywhere I walk, I can hit a pond. I mean, I have ponds all around my house. Now, wherever you live, you might. You're going to have to adjust your, you know, survival bag to whatever your surroundings are. I mean, even a BB gun comes in extremely handy on little things like that. You'd be shocked how many squirrels, or, you know, even around this area, what you can get with a BB gun. Probably even to live off of, I can get so many. Fish yo-yos. There's another good thing. Look that up. I have 2 of them. I'm probably going to get about another 6. You can put them things all the way around a pond. If not, you can. If you have no, you know, limbs hanging over the pond, you can actually rig one up to where fish yo-yos are. It's kind of like you being there, but not. As soon as a fish grabs it, it yanks them completely up out, you know, the hook into their mouth and gets them out of the water. They're extremely handy to have. I mean, it's almost like, you know, 6 people fishing, you know, all the time. But that's why I base it on fishing, is just because of my area. Everywhere I go, there is a pond. I mean, they're all over the place and they're loaded. All year round, you can catch fish. But that's what I'm good at. I mean, I can always catch fish. Trapping would be my second. You know, I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to learn more techniques, but it's harder to stay in constant practice, you know. Or fishing, you can do that for fun, and just the little things you can, you know, always experiment with, go, hey, this works. Bobber fishing to me is one of those things that always work. You know, if you're bass fishing, you're always going for that big 10-pounder. Where when I'm, you know, going fishing with my kids, I'll come home with 10 brim, sunfish, whatever you call them, or crappie. But when you're bass fishing, you know, to be honest, sometimes you might only catch 2 big ones in a day, you know. That's not enough. Well, let me show you my pole coming up. Okay, here's the stick I cut down. As you can see, it goes to a mess at the end. And I'm just going to trim off some of these little limbs right here and just screw some of them in there. And I'm going to show you how this is going to work when I get done with it. I was just showing you what I've cut down. Okay, this is what I've turned it into. I used a little duct tape that I had in my bag. You can use zip ties, same thing, around the handle. As you can see, that's it right there. I can see this one right here popped out. You probably have to pinch these. I'm going to have to pinch these a little bit tighter because it's got that little gap right here in the back. So I have to improve that. But you can see, that's it. I'm going to show you how it casts. I mean, it's, you can still use a cane pole and just tie, you know, something up there on the end, or actually use just one of those swivels on the end. This is something I just threw in there. I'd rather cast. Seems like I can get farther out into the water. I'm going to show you how it works. Okay, this is what I'm using. Just got a little weedless mouse on there because I'm going to be casting right here in my yard. So, let's see if you can see it. Yeah, I'm going to cast this way. Can you see it in the grass? I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to cast my normal way. I'm better righty. I may have got a white one so you'd be able to see it come through the grass. Well, that's my little backpack fishing pole. Thanks for watching.